BTS, BTS, BTS.
We all had our own individual ideas of what we thought the film might be. So it was a little bit tough coming together and, working that out between the three of us.
I think the challenge that we had to overcome at the beginning was sort of figuring out what the rules of this universe were.
We wanted to develop a world where, real people could more or less exist in it.
Even if, the idea wasn't put into the script, it led us to what we had.
When you're writing a script, it's just like it's all make-believe, But then when you actually see it, it's kind of magical.
We kind of hit our stride at the end and worked together well enough to put together something special for Trevor to work with.
Everybody comes from somewhere. A story comes from stories that have happened before. I kind of took those characters, kind of made up some backstories, talked to the writers about what they thought about the backstories, and then from there, gave that to the actors. It was amazing how they would pick up on that and then, develop these relationships with the other actors.
What I liked about working with Trevor was he had a very clear idea of what he wanted, and how he wanted it done, and for an actor, that's just wonderful.
I learned a lot from my crew. When you're directing, sometimes you don't catch yourself on certain things, and other people will catch you. Jenna.
Working with Trevor was a lot like being married for 40 years and just being we sleep in different rooms now.
I like to pay close attention to detail, and sometimes you have to figure out how to do that in a timely manner when you don't have all the time in the world.
Okay, Blacktop scene 5, take 1.
Action.
It was hard to balance everybody because we're trying to have fun and then we also have to get stuff done.
The producers were awesome in keeping people warm. Called them Blanket Squad.
Night Productions, Nightlight Productions. As a producer, you have to put your own personal feelings away and just kind of work for the sake of the crew.
When we were looking for locations, we started to notice that there was kind of a color palette to the city of Lansing. We were kind of able to take that color palette and then apply it to the set design later on.
The ambulance, though, was such a great thing because that was not a struggle to get. The firemen were very gracious to let us use that.
I know that one of the things that's really important to me in teaching and making films, is this idea of diversity and just really broad diversity. So I gave you guys my standard speech.
Jeff said at the beginning of the year, the last thing we want to do is make just another just white people movie because how many of those can you make?
One of the best things I like about it is that it's a very fictional story, but it's weaved in with real situations that people can relate to. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds.
In this, it was so organic. I mean, it came from the story with all the decisions and casting and everything else was just natural.
I decided that we were gonna have a realistic, open casting call. So we left it open to people of all ages, all ethnicities, and both male and female, just because we had no idea who was gonna bring what to that.
Jared Milburn auditioning for Clinton. Then I just started reading.
I wasn't even gonna do it, and my roommate wants to act, so I told him about it. So he was like, man, just come with me, I'm gonna audition. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna come with you. I don't think he likes me anymore because I ended up getting the part.
These are dressing scissors. I asked for dressing forceps. Flipping trainee, here, hold this wound.
Each night that we shot, learning the crew, getting involved with my character and the different cast members that came on. It was just something special for me. Every night that we filmed, it began to grow as a family with, the entire cast and crew.
Please don't ask questions. It'll make it harder for both of us. Will you sit?
Working with students, it's delightful. It's always nice being around, meeting new people, being around young people, and having a sense that my job is to be the actor. Your jobs are to do whatever it is you're supposed to do. It's not my job to tell you how to do it or comment on how you do it. I'm helping with that learning process, and I like that.
Yeah, we just had someone that was really, really awesome. He was a little nervous at first, but we kind of talked him through it and gave him some backstory.
I actually auditioned for the lead role as well as the cop role. The cop role was kind of a secondary thing. I just said, well, as long as I'm here, might as well do this.
They saw something sinister in me that they thought fit the role.
In the case for this film, I decided to take the same approach that Matthew Anderson does, in which he likes to try the different techniques on himself before he uses them in a photograph. I had to do a couple of bullet wounds. I decided on using scar wax. Like, to replicate the look of like exposed muscle, you actually just tear up a cotton ball. And you just put in different kinds of grease makeup and, regular cream-based makeup, and, your favorite shades of red and black. And then I just put fake blood over the whole thing. It's really easy. Well done. It's nice.
There were a lot of pretty complicated shots to pull off. Thank you, Trevor.
Always gotta ask the director, are you happy with the shot? Right, Evan?
Lesson number 1. Eat food, then ask the director if he's okay with the shot.
Meatballs.
With the help of like many people, we made some pretty awesome camera rigs, and we had audio people in the back of cars, like all scrunched up, and it was just really cool.
We did a lot of slider shots, which I think really helps with the fluidity in some of the scenes. And then we go immediately into handheld scenes where it really shows the duality of characters.
The camera can be a character in the film. We started to plan a lot more complicated shots that really, I think, helped push the story along by using the camera in an interesting way and kind of choreographing it with the actor.
For me, I'll notice which scenes we did early on in the film and which shots were later, and I think I can notice a little bit of change in like how I lit things and how they got better over time. For me, I just definitely grew as a person throughout this whole experience and as a gaffer as well. So
for audio, you should always try to match their performance. For example, we have to control the level the microphone is recording at. If it's too high, it's going to sound bad. If it's too low, you can't hear it. Having to come up with your own solution for if somebody drops and like speaks really quietly in the middle of the scene. And instead of telling them, hey, can you change your performance? Austin and I would try to just make it work.
The one thing I'd take away is just everything from on set. It was great just to see how everything works.
It is our last, it's our last shoot. Wow, our last shoot, I don't even know. And we're in Harry's place. We're moving on to our easy shots now, so we should be good.
We had a large group of talented people. I learned a lot, just by observing a lot of our crew and their methods of doing things. I learned about those other positions as well.
Working with everyone and getting to know everyone, I feel like I've made like 25 new friends that I can have for many years to come.
Andrew ran into a window in my house because he thought it was his super. Don't, hey now.